pull up a chair. Seriously, take a second and just breathe. If you've been spending every night tweaking your resume for the 100th application only to hear absolutely nothing back, I have to tell you something that's going to sound a bit wrong at first. You're working too hard on the wrong things. I've been in this industry for 15 years. I've sat on both sides of the hiring table and I've seen the burnout firsthand. You're adding certifications. You're learning that fifth programming language. You're polishing every single bullet point until it shines. And yet, the silence is deafening. Here's the reality most people aren't telling you. By mid-2024, the average job search duration jumped to over 20 weeks. That's 5 months of waking up to no reply emails. In fact, 34% of people looking for work right now have been at it for more than half a year. It's exhausting. But it's not because you aren't qualified, it's actually the opposite. You're becoming invisible because you're trying too hard to fit in. You're building a skill checklist while the world is looking for an architect. Did you know that 75% of resumes are filtered out by automated systems before a human being ever even sees your name? 75%? Let that number sit for a second. You're shouting into a void that's designed to ignore noise. So if working harder is actually making you invisible, what is the hidden logic that's actually deciding who gets those $450,000 roles? Here's the thing. Most companies right now are currently choking on their own success. They've spent the last decade adding tools, adding layers, and adding people until they can barely move. We call this the complexity tax. On average, organizational and software complexity is eating up 7% of annual corporate revenue. Imagine a billion-dollar company just setting $70 million on fire every year because their internal systems are too messy. They're wasting 20% of their software budgets on tools they don't even use. When I first saw this recruiter data, it honestly changed how I think about the whole thing. Recruiters aren't looking for another vitamin, someone who's just nice to have or adds another layer to the pile. They are desperate, and I mean truly desperate, for painkillers. They need people who can walk into a room, look at the chaos, and simplify it. 38% of employees are quitting because the internal noise is too loud. If you can be the person who turns that volume down, you aren't just an employee anymore, you're a savior. Most candidates show up with a suitcase full of more skills, more experience, more tasks. But the hiring manager sitting across from you, they're drowning. They don't want more, they want less. They want the delete key. Here's where it gets really interesting. The people who are thriving right now, the ones working fewer hours for significantly more money, they aren't the ones doing the most work. They're the ones doing the most important work by removing everything else. I've seen this play out 100 times. There's a new breed of professional emerging, and they're commanding rates that would make a traditional VP blush. We're talking about enterprise individuals and fractional leaders. In just 2 years, the fractional executive market doubled to 120,000 people. These aren't just freelancers. They're specialists who come in, prune the garden, and leave. The average rate for these strategic leaders hit $213 an hour in 2024. Think about that. They aren't asking for more work. They're offering to remove the friction. Look at someone like Matt Spangler at the Uniswap Foundation. He didn't sign up for a 40-year grind. He stepped in as a fractional leader, redesigned their brand strategy and budget with minimal overhead, and delivered in months what usually takes years. Or look at the Demeter SaaS group. They skipped the 18-month enterprise bloat by using a core team of fractional experts, CFOs and CMOs who knew exactly what to cut. They launched in 5 months. This is the simplifier strategy. By 2025, over a third of US companies plan to move toward this model. It's a structural pivot. The market is shifting away from tenure and toward proof of impact. It's about being the architect of subtraction. Now, this is the part that changes everything. It's clear that subtraction is the new growth, but with AI entering the chat, is this window of opportunity closing, or is it about to blow wide open? Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: AI. By the end of 2025, 83% of companies are going to be using AI to screen your resume. If you think you can beat that system by adding more keywords, you've already lost. AI can generate infinite noise. It can write 1,000 emails in a second. It can create 10,000 lines of code in a minute. In a world where generation is free, the value of generating more stuff has dropped to zero. This is why 53% of companies admit they haven't seen a real return on their AI investments yet. It just created more complexity debt. This is where you come in. The person who has the courage to say we don't need these 999 things is the only one who becomes indispensable. We are moving from being skills checklists to being architects of subtraction. Your value is no longer in what you can build, it's in what you have the wisdom to stop building. When everyone else is using AI to create more clutter, You use your human judgment to filter it. That's the 16% annual growth gap for top-tier simplifiers. Recruiters in 2025 aren't looking for how well you can use a tool. They're looking for your cultural contribution and your ability to navigate the AI noise without getting lost in it. So, you see the shift, you see the evidence. But how do you actually change your LinkedIn profile by Monday morning to reflect this? Here's the part most people get wrong. They think simplifying means doing less work. It actually means having the guts to do the hard work of choosing what matters. So, here's your architect of subtraction action plan. Your homework this week isn't to learn a new skill or get a new certificate. Now I want you to go back through your last 2 roles and find the one thing you killed, the one process you deleted, or the one redundancy you removed. That goes at the very top of your resume. Instead of saying managed a team of 10, say reduced operational noise by 30% by eliminating redundant reporting cycles. Frame your experience around the pain you killed, not the vitamins you provided. Use those STAR metrics: situation, task, action, result. But focus the result on saved time and reduced complexity. Hiring managers are looking for proof that you won't add to their complexity tax. When you're in that interview, don't talk about how much you can do. Talk about how much you can clear off their plate. Stop trying to be the person who does everything. Be the person who makes sure the right things are the only things that get done. This isn't just about a paycheck. It's about taking your life back from the volume trap. Look, I know the market feels heavy right now, but the people who figured this out, they're getting the callbacks, they're getting the 400K roles, and you can too. I'll see you in the simplified future.